Every draft class, everybody loves to know who the top pick resembles, what players we can compare to based on their play styles. Everybody's waiting for the next LeBron, the next KD, or the next Steph Curry, when nobody drafted a decade plus after them even comes close to displaying any similarities. Once every 3 to 5 years, there'll be a unanimous consensus #1 pick that comes around every now and then. All 30 front offices can only dream to get their hands on. The last one being Victor Wembanyama, who's living up to the hype. Zion Williamson from 2019, 4 years before Wemby, still needs to prove himself and stay healthy. Those two, one of a kind, don't have any one specific past player comparisons with a combination of multiple guys. This year's draft class looking much better after a disastrous first week into the season. Realistic comps for these rookies starts with #1 pick Zachary Risacher. The 6'9" Frenchman came off a career-best 33 points in a win over the Knicks, strong candidate for Rookie of the Year, looking every bit of Franz Wagner with a better 3-point shot. Wagner himself, the 8th pick of the 21 class, already got his max extension, averaged 15 his rookie season, starting all 79 games for the rebuilding Magic. If 19-year-old Risacher was in that class, he'd probably be picked 5th or 6th behind K, Jalen Green, Mobley, and Barnes. And even after Jalen sucks, already has a good feel for the game, good habits developed from an early age from his pops who won silver in the 2000 Olympics. Also a smart player, Coach Quinn Snyder appears to have 100% faith in, encouraging him to keep shooting, hit 6 threes the Knick game, can drive and finish with floaters, already great on defense, gets lots of steals, completely overmatched Josh Hart in every facet of that matchup. Super advanced in every facet of the game besides shooting, being the 8th youngest player, way better than DeAndre Hunter and Bogdanovic already. At worst, looking like a 3rd option on a future contender. 20-point bound in his 2nd season, a real possibility. Alex Sarr of the Washington Wizards, Jared Jackson Jr. At 7 feet, super raw with an outside shot, contains every bit of Triple J, who was the 4th pick of the 2018 much better draft class, looking like a future Defensive Player of the Year candidate, recording multiple blocks every game he's played, a 10, 7, and 3 rejection guy. Once he adds 20 pounds of muscle, will be looked upon as a closing line of 5. Very fluid and coordinated, getting 25 minutes plus, can do whatever he wants. Will have some 1 of 12 awful shooting nights. That's okay since the Wizards not going anywhere. Starting out his career with Big Jonas Valanciunas at the 5 couldn't have worked out any better for the skinny Frenchman. Jackson himself averaged 14 points as a rookie. Both bigs, great strokes from the outside, likely good 2nd and 3rd options for a contender. Triple J having John Moran as his franchise guy takes a lot of relief off him. Sarr will have plenty of time looking for his. Alex the way better rebounder and an inch or 2 taller than Jackson, but Triple J a little more physical, capable of banging bruising 5s. Sarr's defense looks like Nick Claxton, already much better offensively, capable of knocking down jumpers. Jackson Jr. himself already made an all-star team and won Defensive Player of the Year by his 5th season at age 23. Now considered anywhere between the top 35 to 55 player. Given the insane talent of today's NBA, Sarr could become Washington's best draft pick since Bradley Beal. Sheppard won't be getting his minutes unless garbage time for a team looking to make the playoffs in a loaded backcourt. Many want to believe he's the next Steph Curry, when in reality, that's near impossible to assume. An excellent shooter, but just 6'2", not super athletic. I'm not seeing superstar material, but one great pass player I go with, Jeff Hornacek, the starting shooting guard for the 2-time finals Utah Jazz. Hyper-efficient shooter, a hair under 50-40 for his 14-year career, barely played much as a rookie, but peaked as a 20-point scorer, a 1-time All-Star. Horny held up defensively, 2 inches taller than Reed, a good passer and secondary playmaker, don't make much mistakes, a big steals guy, 1.5 for his career. Reed with the passes and a rim dread already has more upside than a JJ Redick. Could find his role starting in the future alongside a big defensive strong guard, or come off the bench and become a Dante DiVincenzo type enginizer. Has super unselfish qualities when he gets his minutes, can easily score 20 plus every now and then with the pace and space of today's game. Stephen Castle, strong defender, out there in the closing moments at 6'6", 215, already having similar qualities to Bruce Brown, who's 6'4", likely now 220, very capable of all the little things, doesn't have a good outside shot, can guard multiple positions, play disciplined ball, a floor raiser with great players around him, but on a team filled with below average players like the Wizards, his presence won't help a team like that win very much. Having good handles and passing to be the second facilitator and a solid floater, not one of the three main offensive guys any great team should rely on. But Bruce Brown had a 21-point Game 4 Finals game against Miami, only 5 points the previous game, will play crunch time minutes, sub in late for defense, but sub out in big playoff moments from somebody who's a way better shooter but worse defender like an MPJ. A role like that for Castle, very realistic for years to come. If his shooting don't get better, Brucey B likely his ceiling. Ron Holland, 5th pick, has the defensive intangibles at 6'8", very similar to Houston Tara Eason, the 17th pick of the 22 draft. Both still a work in progress, has motor and active hands, won't be scoring that much, but a solid piece to a promising future good team. The only thing standing his way, having Tobias Harris start his position, taking 33 minutes a game for being an average overpaid starter. Tidjane Salaun from France, super limited minutes for the 19-year-old, can stroke it from deep at 6'9", quick release, very raw with long arms, similar qualities to Chandler Parsons, a very good player who's had his career cut short due to injuries, and not mentioning about his contract. Parsons was a 23-year-old established rookie while with the Rockets, blossomed into a 16 to 17 point scorer in his prime, a good tall starting small forward. Patience will be key for Salaun's development. Donovan Clingan, his size and presence already making an impact. The problem is, he's stuck playing behind the more established DeAndre Ayton, playing between 11 to 17 minutes each of his first 10 contests. His ceiling? Becoming Golden State Warriors version of Andrew Bogut from 2013 to 2016 with a little bit of outside shooting and knock down the three occasionally like an old Robin Lopez, but better defender, a big strong body who'll be nasty setting them hard screens, finish getting easy lobs. His athleticism and offense nowhere near as polished as young Milwaukee Bucks Bogut before the injuries, but a high quality starting five on a championship team sometime during the 2030s. If Portland's any good by then, whether Donovan drops 15 and 11 or has some 4 and 11 games, his interior presence will always be a threat on both ends. Rob Dillingham, way too early to tell. Creative playmaking with an outside shot but a small frame at 6'1", 175. I'm going with Brandon Jennings with a little mix of Aaron Brooks, a 3-level scorer, explosive, capable creating space, one of the most controversial players that could end up like Kemba Walker or bust like Johnny Flynn. His highlights will be top notch, but impact-wise, still a question many need to see. If he can balance playmaking with shot hunting, will certainly have a longer career than Jennings. Zach Edey, a poor man's Yao Ming, not because they both Asian, but similar build, similar body frame. Yao 2 inches taller, just like how Steve Francis is a poor man's version of Ja Morant. Edey's the poor man's Yao. Nobody in the draft received as much backlash. Staying all 4 years in college, continues to look like a man amongst boys. The jump hoax, going up strong, slamming while barely jumping, not even knowing the smaller guys trying to stop him. Edey doesn't have Yao's turnaround jumper or post game yet, but an absolute monster finishing at the rim and a mixture of a little Milwaukee Bucks Brook Lopez, can occasionally hit the 3 from time to time, a potential 2 to 5 time All-Star and high level starting center. Edey can simply reach new heights. Dominate on both ends, absolutely demolished the conference finals Pacers front court in preseason. Memphis good enough with depth to play certain matchups. Edey could certainly be the difference maker in many 7-game series. The Grizz obviously playing through Ja, Desmond Bane, and Triple J, but when the game slows down, Edey can have his Brook Lopez caliber one-on-one post-ups, not as skilled as Brook, but has size similar to Yao. If he came into the draft 20 years earlier, Edey no question be a top 5 pick in many classes, has toughness and heart, certainly hurt all the doubters, a true competitor with underrated work ethic. The way many scouts talked about this man leading into the draft, an absolute travesty of a disgrace. There's still hope for traditional bigs, one of the favorites to win Rookie of the Year, Cody Williams. NBA comparison, I'm going with Patrick Williams. The brother of Jalen Williams, 6'7", soon to be 20 years old, similar height, low usage role player with size, likely a borderline lottery pick. In most drafts, a disappointing start to his career, non-existent offensively, will have months to figure things out. Matis Buzelis, 6'10 small forward, needs more minutes, can put the ball on the floor, good help side shot blocker, decent athlete and knockdown shooter, very similar to another former Bulls, Mike Dunleavy Jr., a sharpshooting small forward that's 6'9", an 11-point career guy, never an all-star but a good starter, averaged close to 20 points one season, both fluid handles, super thin frame, high floor spacer, savvy player to help the offense flow smoother. Nikola Toppin and Devin Carter neither made their debuts. Carlton Carrington, Spencer Dinwiddie, a gift for the Wizards early on, starting the point, 10, 5, and 5 numbers, good size at 6'4", can play either on and off ball, show flashes as a scorer and creator. His offense not as polished as a Cade Cunningham, doesn't have the defense of a Jalen Suggs, has all the time in the world in Washington to make mistakes early, bound to get numbers. If he was drafted by a contender, likely ride the bench as a 10th man. Other big-name rookies outside the lottery includes Dayton Knecht, a combination of Tim Hardaway Jr. and Mike Miller, already 23 years old, having his moments but struggles time to time, has decided to play decent minutes. The rookie slumps will be real, but he's more than capable of dropping 20 points once every 7 to 8 games when his shot's falling. Absolutely lethal. Super heat check guy, can get insanely hot in a 3-minute stretch, but also frustrating nights 1 of 7 and 1 of 8 shooting like Hardaway Jr., who's been that type of guy for all his career. After that 18-point Cleveland game, Knecht hasn't made more than 2 baskets each of his next 5. He likely won't be as good as Memphis Mike Miller, who's a legit 6'8" and bucket getter, but can play a key role to a contender like Miami's Miller at the latter part of his career. Knecht's playstyle more Timmy than Mikey. 24 pick Keyshawn George of the Wizards, 6'7", very similar to Joe Ingles, good handles without the athleticism or quickness, a smooth game, can also bring up the ball and run the point. Ryan Dunn, a couple struggling games after a blistering first week, but still shooting 13 of 33 from deep, looking like shades of Herb Jones of the Pelicans, special defender at 6'8", disrupt plays, the perfect glue guy Phoenix desperately needs, intelligent for his age and versatile, responsible for LeBron having his worst game in years, super athletic at the rim, likely won't win Rookie of the Year, but a huge chance at making all-rookie first team, especially if he keeps getting minutes and Phoenix secures a top seed. Jalen Wells, falling out from Memphis, incredible offseason for the Grizz, landing giant Zach Edey. Both can either come off the bench or start, 26 minutes a game. I see lots of Rodney Hood in him, especially during his early Utah days. Can absolutely become the full-time starter in a season or two, have some productive years, average double figures between 12 to 18 points a game as his ceiling, a quick release jumper, needs to improve getting to the rim, but with the Grizz squad being loaded, Wells could be a huge difference maker in a pivotal late playoff series. Bronny James, the most talked about rookie. His dream upside, Davion Mitchell, if he even gets to that level. When it comes to playing in the NBA, you either have it or you don't. Millions can dream and never make it, but if you got powerful connections and didn't average more than 5 points a game for a weak college team, you in. He only gets comparisons due to his name, absolutely has no realistic NBA similarities to any good player at the moment, since he's not even NBA caliber, not even G League caliber either. We'll see how he does there. It absolutely doesn't matter if he's related to arguably the best player the game's ever produced. That ain't gonna give him any sort of magic powers. It depends how badly he wants it. Does he even love the game like the other young 20-year-olds his age? Or is he just playing ball as a chore as part of his job to elevate Pop's legacy?